Right, guys. Good evening. So I request everybody to share your email IDs so I can share all the class recordings to you. Raghuir, can you please share your email ID? Raghuir, are you there? Are you able to hear me? Request everybody to please respond.
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, thanks. Raghuir, can you please share your email ID? Okay, I'll share the content to Raghuir later once he shares the email ID. So in the meantime, I'm sharing the recording links for the first 2 days. Okay. So I'll be receiving from my email ID. So these are the 2 links for the first 2 days of recordings. Okay. Please go through them. So for every 2 days, you'll be receiving the recordings, links for the recordings. Right. So yesterday, so we have discussed all the components of connecting to Tableau. So data connections to Tableau. So we have seen that there are 2 ways of connecting to Tableau. One is a live connection and the other one is extract or hyper connection. Right. So in extract, there are 2 ways to extract data, extracting all the data and extracting only some of the data by adding filters. So in live connection, we have seen the mechanism, live connection mechanism uh, of having a live communication path between Tableau and data source. So in a live connection, Tableau has a direct live communication path with data source. We have seen that mechanism, and also with an example, we have seen how changes will reflect in the view by refreshing the live connection. Also, we have seen hyper connection, and we have seen the extract connection mechanism.
Hey,
So,
Kranti, are you sharing anything?
oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am sharing it. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So yesterday we have seen how we can connect to live and also a hyper connection, right? So we have seen the live connection mechanism. Uh, like a live connection mechanism has a live communication path established between Tableau and data source. We have seen that with an example, and in extract connection mechanism we have seen that. So a snapshot of the database uh, is generated, and the snapshot is shared in Tableau data engine, and in turn that would be sent to .td or .hyper file. So whenever Tableau wants to take the data, so Tableau refers to the .hyper file or .tde file rather than connecting to data source in the case of a extract connection. So we have seen that with a demonstration with a picture, the mechanism of an extract, and we have seen that with an example as well. So also we have seen uh, how data Tableau data engine uh, is comparatively more efficient than a .tde file. So we have seen the differences between a live connection and a extract connection as well, um, differentiated by a icon, different icons. So we've seen that as a simple cylinder is represented is represented for a live connection, and a an icon like this with a double cylinders and an arrow mark like this shows that it's a extract connection. Also, we have seen uh, different uh, what different aspects of the differences between live and extract connections. Okay, so uh, we also seen that um, in hype .tda is now being saved as .hyper, and we can convert .tda files into hyper when you open that TDE files. Okay, so the next part that we have discussed was dimensions and measures. So we have seen that there are different types of dimensions and also different types of measures. So later on we have seen different fact tables or measure tables. So, and also we have looked upon few of the uh, uh, looked upon the types of schemas. So these are the topics that we have discussed yesterday, and we have looked into some visual cues. We have looked into some visual cues in Tableau, and how to identify metadata in Tableau. So we have seen that um, in Tableau there is a data window, and in that there will be data connection and data segregated by dimensions and measures. And in Tableau we can identify the metadata by using some visual cues like these icons. Okay, so we have discussed all those things yesterday. So um, a couple of questions regarding the yesterday's class. Okay, so if I ask which schema is best in performance, what could be the answer? So what are different schemas? There's a star schema, there's a snowflake schema, and a mixed schema. So which schema is best in terms of performance?
Star schema.
Yeah, star schema is the answer. Star schema is the best schema in performance as it contains less number of tables. So always the star schema is good in performance because star schema contains less number of tables, so the data selection will be faster. Okay, so if I ask us another question, so is it possible to convert snowflake to star schema or not? So what could be the answer? The answer is yes. It is possible to convert snowflake to star schema. So it is possible to convert snowflake to star by grouping all the dimensions into a single logical dimension. So we have seen that there is a relationship between different dimensions. Okay, so so different dimensions are related to each other. So we can group those dimensions into a single logical dimension and then attach that to a fact table. But that approach is not recommended as it degrades the performance. Okay, it is possible, but it is not recommended as it degrades the performance. Okay, so we have also discussed about one type of a dimension. So which dimension is not having its own dimension table? So what type of a dimension table is that? What type of a dimension is that?
Degenerate dimension.
Yes, degenerated dimension is the answer. Right. So today, so we are going to look at Tableau desktop environment. Okay. So we are going to look at Tableau desktop environment. Right. Right. The Tableau desktop environment is mainly divided into two sections. So this is a Tableau desktop environment. So once you connect to the any data source, so the Tableau desktop environment looks like this. So this environment is basically divided into two sections. So one is the data section, and the other one is the workbook section. So other one is the workbook section. Okay. So one is the data section and the other one is the workbook section, right? So here, with the help of data section, the data connections will be created. So this is a data connection. So this is a data connection to a data source called training superstore sales data source. Okay. So this is located at a local location on my system. Okay. So uh, basically with the help of a data section, we uh, we are able to create a data connection. Okay, we are able to create a data connection. So with the help of a workbook section, with the help of this workbook section, so the complete work in Tableau is to be performed. So the work of building a visualization is done in the workbook section. Okay, so what is a workbook here? In Tableau, workbook files are much similar to MS Excel workbooks. Okay, so there are different sheets like this, and a collection of all these sheets is called as a workbook. And also there is a dashboard. We'll come to that later. So a workbook is a collection of all the elements in a visualization. Okay, so in Tableau, workbook files are much similar to MS Excel workbooks. The workbook is the container of all the work in the Tableau. So what is a workbook? A workbook is a container of all the work in the in Tableau. Okay, so to create a new workbook, if you want to create a new workbook from the existing workbook, so you need to go to File and select New. So this will create a new workbook like this. So you have to connect. You have to go to Connect to Data and select either file or a database. Select any data source, and then mm, and select the tables within the data source. I'm selecting orders table here, and then you will have the dimensions and measures aggregated. So you have established a data connection like this. Okay, so go to File and click on New. So the other option to create a new data workbook is also you can use Control N. I'm pressing Control N now. So this will create a new dashboard as well. Control N or File plus New, File and New. Okay, so these are two options to create a new workbook. So what does a workbook contain? So workbook contains data section and okay, in Tableau Workspace. Okay, the workbook contain data section and a Tableau Workspace. This is the Tableau Workspace, and This is the data section. So coming to the data section, so we in the data window, in the data window of Tableau, there are four different types of data tabs. Okay, there are four different types of data tabs. So one is dimensions, other is measures. So there is also another data tab called sets, another data tab called sets. So there's also another tab called parameters. Okay, so in data window, um, in a data window of Tableau, four different types of data tabs are available. So one is dimension, so other one is measures, the third one is sets, and the fourth one is parameters. We'll look into each one in detail later. So in Tableau data window, there are four different types of data tabs. So one is dimension, measures, second one is measures, third one is sets, fourth one is parameters. So that's about data section. So coming to Tableau Workspace. So this is all the Tableau Workspace. This is all the Tableau Workspace. So it is a work area in Tableau Desktop. This is the work area in Tableau Desktop. So the Tableau Workspace contains 9 multiple components. So this workspace contains 9 multiple components. Okay, so what are those 9 multiple components? Okay, so they are shelves. So what are shelves here? Shelf is a place where all the data fields will be placed. Okay, shelves is the place where all the data fields, these are the data fields, right? So wherever you place these data fields are called shelves. In Tableau Desktop, there are four different types of shelves are available. So in Tableau Desktop, there are four different types of shelves which are available. So one is column shelf, other one is row shelf, other one is row shelf. The third one is pages shelf. Third one is pages shelf. Pages is also a shelf. So we'll look into each one in our future classes. So there are column shelf, row shelf, and pages shelf, and there also filter shelf. So basically, in Tableau there are four different types of shelves. Okay, column, rows, pages, and filters. And there are also marks cards. Okay, so this is marks card. This is called as marks card. It is a container for all the different kinds of predefined charts in Tableau. So this is a container for all the predefined charts in Tableau. So you can see bar, line, area, square, circle, shape, text, map, chart, pie chart, Gantt chart, and polygon chart. So what is marks card? It is a container for all the different kinds of predefined charts in Tableau. It also contains legends like color and size. Okay, it also contains color, size, and also text or label, and um, detail and tooltip. Okay, so it also contains legends like color and size, text. This is also called as label in some cases, um, detail and tooltip. Okay, so with the help of marks card in Tableau Desktop, any visualization can be built. With the help of this marks card in Tableau, so any visualization can be developed. So there is also other section called toolbar. So this is the toolbar. This is the toolbar. So it is the area where the list of different tools is available. Okay, this is a list of different tools available in Tableau. Okay, and we can build any chart randomly and see the functionalities of different tools there. Okay, right now we'll see one by one. So this is undo and redo tool. So with the help of undo and redo, we can navigate to the previous or next button. So if you go, so this is just like a control S, control Z, control Y option. So redo and undo. So you can redo and undo. We can go a step further and step backward with these two buttons, these two tools. So there's also a button called save here. Okay, so this is undo, this is redo. You can also use control Y and control Z as a shortcut keys. So there's a save button, you can use control S as well. So this save button, if you click on the save button, Tableau will save the workbook in the specified location. Okay, so this icon is called connecting to the data. So you can connect to new data sources by clicking on this. Okay, so you click on save button, you have to specify a path, and the workbook will be saved at a location you desire. So if you want to connect to a new data source, okay, you click on this icon and you will be asked to select either a file or a database. You need to select those, then you'll be able to connect to any data source. Okay, so you have this option called new. So with the help of this icon, so new worksheet or new dashboard or new story can be created. So with the help of these to this toolbar, this tool, we can create either a new worksheet, new dashboard, or a new story. So I'll click on new worksheet. A new worksheet is created like this. Similarly, if I click on new dashboard, a new dashboard is created like this. Okay. Similarly, if I click on new story will be created like this. You also have shortcuts for creating worksheet, dashboard, and a story here as well. Okay, if you click on new worksheet here, a new worksheet will be created. If you click on this icon here, it will create a new dashboard. Similarly, if you create this icon, you will create a new story. Okay, right. So there is another tool here to create duplicates. Okay, duplicate sheet. If you click on this icon, so it creates the copy of the existing worksheet. So the worksheet here is sheet 1 having this visualization. So if you click on this duplicate, so it will create a duplicate of the existing sheet. So a duplicate of the existing sheet has been created like this. Okay, so if you want to clear a sheet, press this icon. So this is clear sheet, or alt shift backspace can also be used as a shortcut. Okay, so this is a icon to duplicate a sheet. This is an icon to clear the sheet. If you press this, it removes the content of the existing sheet temporarily. Okay, press on this and it will remove the content of the existing sheet temporarily. Okay, right. um, we also have, we can delete this by right clicking on the sheet and deleting it. Okay, so we have also we have auto update feature here. Okay, so here this icon shows pause auto update or um, okay, or resume auto update. So what is this icon? So with the help of this, the updates of the data fields can be controlled and paused. So if you want to control the updates, so if you want to complete the data, control the data update, so you can use this icon here. Okay, so it either pauses or releases the auto update feature. Okay, so note here that auto update is automatically functioned. So um, if you don't uh, use it, it is thing is, so if you don't pause it, the automatic updates automatically function here. Okay, so if you actually pause this update, so you will get an icon like this to run the update. Okay, once you pause the auto update, and if you want to perform the update manually, then this option will be used. So if you click on this, so that update would be run manually uh, at that instance. Okay, so if you are not highlighting this pause auto update, the run update icon will not get highlighted. Okay, so only when you pause the update you will get this icon, right? So we have swapping icon also here. Okay, so you can use control plus W as well. So what it does is to interchange the data fields in the columns and row shelves automatically. Then swapping option will be used. So if you use this swapping option, it will interchange the rows fields to columns, columns fields to rows. Okay, to interchange the data fields in columns and row shelves automatically, we use swapping option. Okay, so once click on this, so sales will be going into rows and category to columns. Just notice this. Okay, category has come to columns and rows to sales. And also observe the view. So if I again swap this, click on this icon, again they will be switching the columns and rows like this, right? So we also have this sorting icons here. Okay, sorting will arrange the visualization either in ascending or descending order. So this is the icon to sort the visualization in ascending order, and this is a icon to sort the visualization by descending order. So by clicking on this the visualization will be in ascending order. So by clicking on this icon, the visualization will be in descending order. Okay. So we also have an icon called T here. Okay, so if it will display the values in the visualization. Okay, so if you don't press this, so the visualization will not show any values. So if you press this icon, so it will show the values in the visualization. Okay, it's also called as a show label. Okay, so okay, you can see here that it's a show mark. It's show mark labels. Okay, right. So we have one more icon here, which is called show or hide cards. It is called show or hide cards. So with this option, all the shelves and marks cards can be hidden or unhidden here. So as you can see, there are different options to show or not to show, different options. So if you don't want to show title, so you just click on title. So the title of the sheet has gone away. So if you again want to show the title, click on that. So title comes here. Okay. Similarly, if you don't want to show column shelf, so uncheck this. So this column shelf will go away. Only rows is there. Similarly, if you want that again back, so click on column shelf. So basically, if you want to show or hide cards, so with this option, all the shelves and marks cards can be hidden or unhidden. Okay, right. So we also have a presentation mode icon here. Okay, what is that is, if you want to display the visualization in the form of a presentation or a PPT, then we use the presentation mode option. So clicking on this will show the visualization like this in a presentation mode. Okay, press escape to go back to the original view. So you have to note here that um, turning off automatic update options. Turning off this automatic update option is recommended if we are connecting to a complex data source at the time of performing development to improve performance. So we have to turn off the automatic update option. So that means you have to pause the automatic update option when you are working on a complex data source at the time of developing the dashboard to improve the performance. So we'll discuss why we have to do this in next few minutes. Okay, when you are performing dashboard development with complex data source, we have to pause automatic updates. Right. The next section is sheets. Next section is sheets. So in Tableau desktop, the sheet can be either worksheet, dashboard, or a story. Okay, so in Tableau desktop, a sheet can be either a worksheet or a dashboard or a story. These sheets will hold the individual development. Okay, these sheets will hold the individual development of the visualization. So what is a worksheet here? Worksheet is the smallest development component in Tableau desktop. So all these visualizations are located where they are located in a worksheet here, right? So a worksheet is the smallest development component in Tableau desktop. All the initial development should be performed at the worksheet level only. Okay, so at the worksheet level, we have to perform the initial visualization development work. So coming back to dashboard, what is a dashboard? So it is a collection of multiple worksheets in Tableau. So a dashboard contains multiple um, multiple worksheets. So in a dashboard, all the individual work will be contained. So it's a container where all the worksheets sit. Okay. So for example, so this is a fully developed dashboard. So this is a dashboard containing how many worksheets? 3 worksheets. So in each worksheet, we have developed the visualization, right? So so what you can do is, so right click on the dashboard and then click on hide all sheets, and then again unhide all sheets. Okay, so there are 3 sheets which are coming from this dashboard. So the sheets are sales by location, plot of sales and profits, and transaction details. Okay, so a dashboard contains multiple sheets. What are those sheets? Sales by location, plot of sales and profits, and transaction details in this example. Okay, so you can, if you hide all those sheets, so the sheets will be hidden and they sit in the dashboard. Okay, so basically, um, what is a dashboard? It's a collection of multiple worksheets in Tableau. So what is a storyboard? So it is a new feature. It is a new feature from Tableau 8.2 version. It is a collection of multiple worksheets and dashboards. So what is a story? So story is a collection of multiple dashboards and worksheets. Okay. So if you unhide these worksheets here, so in a story, you can drag drop and show dashboards as well as worksheets. What about a dashboard? So a dashboard has
Only one.
input has as sheets. Okay, sheets are the input for dashboard, and all the development happens at worksheet level. All the see, all the sheets are the input for dashboard. So all the worksheets, so either a worksheet or a dashboard or a combination of a dashboard and a worksheet are input for story. Okay, so these are the different sheets in Tableau. Okay, so coming to the next part, we have the option called show me here. Okay, so it is the area where the list of different predefined charts are available. Okay, show me is the area where there is a list of all the different predefined charts. There are 8 to 24 charts. Okay, there are 24 different charts in show me option. Okay, show me is the area where we have a list of all different predefined charts in Tableau. Okay, you can directly choose these visualizations and plot the graph. So the prerequisites for plotting the graph are shown at the bottom. So for example, for a side-by-side bar, what are needed? So one or more dimensions and one or more measures, and requires at least 3 fields. Similarly, we have in area chart, we the prerequisites are one date field and 0 or more dimensions or one or more measures. So if you have those fields into the shelves, so we can plot different visualizations. You can see that there are few unhighlighted or uh, not highlighted visualizations. That means the required prerequisites are not met. So if you have uh, two measures and one date field in the shelves. What are shelves? Columns, rows, pages, and filters. So if you place them in different shelves, so these will be highlighted. So once the prerequisites are met. Okay. So in show me, some charts will be in active mode and some in inactive mode like this. So active mode charts indicate that they support the data fields in columns and rows, whereas um, uh, they won't support inactive mode charts. Okay, right. So once we have to note here that once you pause the auto update, it is not possible to use show me. So if you pause auto update, okay, so show me will not be available. So what is the option showing here? Turn on automatic updates to use show me. Okay, so if you pause the automatic update, show me option is not available. You have to note this point. Okay, show me is the alternative approach to. Okay, so you want this show me, you can uh, um, you can again uh, you can unpause the auto updates. Then, so what is this show me option? So it is the alternative approach to marks card. Okay, so in marks card also we have different chart types, right? So show me is an alternative approach to marks card. Okay, right. So these are the few of the desktop environment components. Okay, now we will see some points to note while working on any visualization. Okay, if you drag and drop any field into the shelves and column shelves, okay, whenever you um, drag and drop any field into rows and columns shelves, Tableau instantly displays the values by sending the query to the data source. Okay, whenever you drag drop the fields onto columns and row shelves, in the background, what Tableau does is it instantly displays the values by sending the query to the data source. Okay, it sends the query to the data source in the background. So if you drag and drop n number of fields into rows and columns, Tableau will generate n number of queries. Okay, so the number of fields you drag and drop into rows and columns will generate those equal number of queries. So it is going to degrade the performance as it needs to execute those number of queries. Okay, so basically the number of times you drag drop the fields onto the shelves will generate those number of queries in the backend. Okay, so to decrease the n number of queries to one query, you have to pause the automatic updates in the toolbar before building any visualization. So if you have to press this pause auto updates, and then you drag drop how many ever number of fields into the shelves. By doing this, what happens is, so rather than generating n number of queries, it will only generate one query and update the visualization only once by sending only single query. So if you pause the automatic updates, then Tableau will not execute any queries. Okay, so Tableau will not execute any queries if you pause the auto updates. So after building all the visualization or placing all the fields into rows and column shelves, then click on run update. Once you are done with the placing of different fields onto different shelves here, and once you are done with the building the visualization, what you can do is you click on this icon here, which is run update in the toolbar. So this will send only one single query for all the fields, which will improve the performance. So by doing this, so only single query for all the fields will be sent to the database. So eventually this will result in the performance improvements by at least 50%. Okay, the performance improvement will be by at least a minimum of 50%. Okay, so these are the things you need to keep in mind while developing the dashboards, right? Okay. Now, so from Tableau version 9, we have this option called Analytics. So from Tableau 9, we have this Analytic Steps. So we can build average lines, medians, box plots. All the statistical analytic techniques can be done with this. Okay. So we can also build forecast for the trend data. Okay, we can build the clusters. So we can build a reference lines. In further examples, we'll see how we can build all the reference line distribution band, and all the box plots. Okay, so we can do all these analytics using this analytics tab. And later we have data source tab here. So for each dashboard and uh, worksheet, we have a tab here. Similarly, at the beginning of any workbook, we have data source tab. Okay, so this is a data source page. Okay, in this we have the connection details and the table details, the preview of the data, and different sorting orders, and the number of rows that should be shown. So if you want to hide any fields, you can show that. You can even change the data type here. Okay, you can even change the alias of the alias of the of the field here. Okay, so if you want to change the data type, change it to so this is a date and time string, a time field, so you can change it to a string, you can change it to a number. Okay, so basically you are playing with the metadata initially itself in data source page. Okay, so unit price. So order id is what? Order id is by default a number. If you want to make it a string, you can do that here. Okay, you are defining the data type in data source page here. So you can do that here. You can create an extract, you can create a subset of an extract or a full extract here. You can create a live connection in this page. You can name the connection name also here. You can change the name of the connection here. Okay, so you can also build some joins, so we'll come to that part later. Okay, so this is the data source page. This is a data source page, right? So you can see what is the data source that we are connected into. So you can edit the connection as well, and select another source from here. Okay, so this this is about um, data source page. Also we can build custom SQL queries. So before even bringing into the data, so you can write your own SQL queries, and then use this as a filter. So these are also called as database level filters. So using a SQL query, you can um, take the subset of the complete data source as well. So that is that appears in the data source page, right? So we can also sort the fields at the data source page. How can we sort the fields? So we have different options to sort the fields. You can sort these fields either in data source order, or A to Z, ascending order or descending order, or see, you are able to see the difference, right? So the order in which the fields are placed can also be sorted in using uh, data source page. Okay, right. This is about the data source page. We also discussed about storyboard button. So we also have Tableau icon. Okay, so we have Tableau icon button here. Okay, this is a Tableau icon button. So what it does is show start page, or Control+2 can also be used. So Tableau icon in toolbar is used to navigate from workspace to start page. Okay, if you want to go to start page, you can click on this to navigate. Okay, so this will take you to the start page like this. Once you click back on the icon again, you go to the workspace. So if you want to go back to the start page, you have to click on the Tableau icon. So again, click on the Tableau icon to come back to the workspace. So basically, it is some type of a navigation action. Okay, navigation action to uh, take you to different um, places, either to the either to the mm, either to the start page or to the workspace, right? um, this feature called text T button here is newly introduced from Tableau version 10. Okay, it used to be as ABC before, so it is now from version 10 it is shown as T. Okay, so from version 10 Tableau is automatically displaying worksheets as titles as well. So these titles are displayed automatically from version 10. We also have a film strip here. Okay, here we have show film strip. Okay, film strip will display all the sheets in the workbook in the form of a strip. Okay, film strip button is available in the rightmost bottom corner. So by using this, we'll have a film strip view like this. Okay, so you can use a view like this to show tabs, or you can show film strip as well. So just to have a um, glance of what is there inside. Okay, we can show a film strip view like this as well. Once this is done, so you have to save the work in Tableau in the form of a workbook in the form of a .twbx format, or it also called as Tableau packaged workbook. So once the development is done, once the Tableau development is done, so you need to go to file and click on save as. So here we have two options. So to save it as Tableau packaged workbook, represented in an extension called .twbx, or Tableau workbook with an extension .twb. Okay, if you save as .twb, that file will be saved in XML format. That file will be saved in .xml format. Okay, um, right. So workbooks often reference external resources. Okay, so whenever you build any workbook like this, so they often reference external resources. For example, workbooks might reference workbooks might reference background images. So there might be some visualizations which use background images, or local file data sources such as Excel. So we are using Excel for this, right? So where is this sitting? It's sitting in the local desktop, right? So those are all called local file data sources. So Excel is a local file data source. Access is one example, and all the extract files also. Okay, these are all sitting where? So in documents, in my Tableau repository, in data sources. So these are all the different types of data sources, right? So what do you have? We have Excel. We have Excel. Okay, Excel as a data source. We also have a dot hyper. We also have extract files. These are all the extract files, right? What are dot hyper files? These are all the extract files. Okay, so these are the local file data sources. So whenever you build any dashboard, so the dashboard will obviously refer to all these files, right? So they refer to the um, local file data sources or any background images. So when you save a workbook, links to these resources are also saved. Okay, so when you save any workbook, links to all those resources are also saved. So the next time you open the workbook, the views are automatically updated with any changes that you have made to the data and images. Okay, so when you store the links to the resources, and when you store the link to the resources, and when you open that next time, okay, when you store the links to all those resources and open that workbook for the next time, so what happens is the views automatically update with the change. So so you change the you give the links to the resources, and you change any information in the in the in the data sources. For example, this is the data source, Excel data source that you have, and you made any change in this sheet. So for example, you have deleted one of the fields, and also you have added few more fields. So when you connect back again um, to the same workbook a couple of days later, so all those changes that you have done in the files will be reflected in the dashboard automatically if you give the links to the resources by saving it as twbx. Okay, so in most of the cases you will want to save the workbook in this way. Okay, um, if you if you are using a workbook on your PC only, so if you want to use the workbook as a in on your PC on your, so if you are only working on that dashboard and you are not working and sharing with the rest of the team members, you can save it as .twb, because um, the files will be located in your local system only. So even if you save by as twb and you are the only person working on the dashboard, that will not create any issue. But if you plan to share the workbook with someone who does not have access to the referenced sources, okay, or if you want to publish the workbook to Tableau server, so you always want to save the packaged workbook instead. Okay, so whenever you want to save um, in as a TWB, that means that workbook is only worked by you, wherein the resources are located locally. Resources are located locally on your system, so um, the references can be taken. However, if you want to share this workbook with somebody else outside your laptop or a system, so you have to save that work as a .twbx file, where all the resources linked to this workbook will be saved together as a packaged workbook and sent sent to sent to the users. Okay, so I'm saving this as twbx in the local system, right? So it got saved as a package workbook like this, right? So if you open this, no, not like this. First you need to unpack this. So it has .twv, along with that you have book 2, so which has all the data, right? So data is also packaged along with this file, packaged workbook, right? So if you only save as .twb, only that workbook will be saved, not the uh, sheets or all the data sources related to that. Okay, so if you want to share your workbook with somebody else, you have to save it as a .twbx file, right? So that's about the saving part. So one more thing is, whenever you develop a dashboard, whenever you develop a dashboard, we don't have access access to the data directly at dashboard level. So we do not have access to data directly at dashboard level. We have to go into sheet to have access to data. So we have access to data at which level? At sheet level. On a dashboard level, you don't have direct access to data. So even on a dashboard level, if you want to have a direct access with data, you again, so there's a link to go to sheet, link shown as go to sheet, right? You have to click on this to go to sheet again to have access to the data. Okay, basically you don't have access to the data directly at dashboard level. So also seen that in show me there are 24 charts Okay, there are 24 different types of charts. And also if you pause the auto update, we can't perform any. Okay, so if you click this pause auto update, if you want to refresh any extract, you cannot perform that. So the refresh will not get updated. Okay, so if you want to refresh any um, um, if you want to perform any refresh either on uh, live or extract data connection, you have to make sure that it's not in pause auto update condition. So it should not be in pause. Okay, if it is in pause, so you will not be able to perform the refresh operation. Okay, will not be able to perform the refresh operation. Yeah, these are the things that I wanted to tell you about Tableau desktop environment. Okay, so these are the things you need to keep in mind when you're working with Tableau. So this is about Tableau desktop environment. Okay, we'll take a quick break of a couple of minutes, and we'll come back again and we'll try to build basic visualizations in Tableau. Okay, see you guys in 2 minutes. Right, guys. So now we are going to see building basic visualizations in Tableau. Okay, before that, I mean, do you have any questions from yesterday's class and today's class till now? Right. So now we are going to see building basic visualizations in Tableau. Right. So how do we connect to a new workbook? So go to File and click on New. Should create a new workbook. So I'll connect to the data. So what are the prerequisites? I need to have data. So I need to either have a file or a database connection. And also I need to have a Tableau desktop installed in my system, right? So I believe everybody have installed Tableau in their systems. So starting today, so you need to practice whatever has been demoed here. Okay. So please practice that from your end and come back with any questions. So I'll also be in today or tomorrow's class. I mean, I'll also be giving some assignments. So you need to finish those.
So,
Right.
you're sharing these videos, whatever the recorded videos, Francie.
So who is this?
This is Raghuveer.
Yeah, Raghuveer. So I've already shared the videos. So please share your email ID in the chat window.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, please share your email ID in the chat window. So can you do that right away?
Yeah, sure. I am doing that.
Yeah. Right. I'll share you after the end of the session. Okay.
Okay, sure. No problem.
I'll share you. Right. Now, so what are the prerequisites for building any visualization? You need to have either a file system or a connection to a database. Okay. So, and also you need to have Tableau desktop installed in your system. But these are the two prerequisites for going ahead, right? So now we'll perform our first task. So, we'll first connect to the data and select Excel and choose Training Superstore Sales. Okay, so this is the data source. Orders is the table I am going to use, and I'm getting a view of the data here. So I'm going to with live action. Right now, the first step is to identify the dimensions and measures. So now you have all the list of dimensions and measures, right? So the first and foremost step is you need to identify what are the measures and what are the dimensions here. So in our task, our goal is to display continent wise total sales. So there is continent dimension and there is sales measure. So we have to display continent wise total sales. So we need to identify the dimension continent first. Okay, continent is there, and we also have to identify measure sales. Sales measure is there, right? What is the next step? So we have to drag continent from dimensions. We have to drag continent from dimensions into rows because we want to show in rows like this. So we drag continent from dimensions under data window to rows shelf because we want to show each continent in each row like this. Now, so we want to show sales in columns here. So we have to drag sales from measure and place it in columns like this, right? So to color the visualization, we'll drag continent and drop into color. So there's a color shelf here, right? So we'll drag continent. So we want to show different continent by different colors. So we'll drag continent to color, right? So we are able to see different content with different colors, right? To show the values, what do we have to do? We just discussed now. I want to show the values. What should I do? What should I do, guys? To press plus T here. Okay, I have to show mark labels. So to show the values, I have to press the mark labels like this, right? Mm. So in this task, what have we done is we have we have uh, we are, our intention is to show continent wise total sales. Okay, so we are also sorting this to show the highest number first. So our intention is to show content wise total sales. For that, we have first identified the dimensions and measures, which are continent and sales, and drag them into rows and columns. And to differentiate different rows, we have placed continent into color and sorted them in descending order so that we can see the highest value at the top and the lowest value at the bottom. Okay, this is how we can build a basic visualization. It's so simple as you're looking at. So you don't have to write any code for this. So in the background, what happens is VisQL is the proprietary software of Tableau Corporation, which does all this. So in the backend, SQL queries are sent to the database and they are generated and then shown as a visualization using descriptive language. Okay, so uh, we'll see in our future classes how we can even write our custom SQL queries if you want. Okay, so basically, however, you don't have to do that initially. So in these basic visualizations, so in the first task we have seen how we can build a visualization like this. So we'll go to the next task. Okay, here we'll display category. So there is a category here. So we'll display category wise average order quantity. So there's order quantity here. So we will aggregate on average, and then we'll color it by category and size also with order quantity. So we'll see how we can do that. So the first step is to identify the dimensions. What are the dimensions and measures here? So we have to display the category wise average order quantity, right? So first category is the dimension. Yes, we have a category. Then order quantity is the measure here. So first we need to identify the dimension measures. Yes, we have identified it. What is the second step, guys? So we need to drag the category into rows. So we need to drag the category into rows like this, and then order quantity into columns. Order quantity into columns. Now by default, Tableau takes sum as aggregation for the measure called order quantity, right? So we need to change the aggregation because we don't want sum here. So what is that we want? We want average of order quantity, right? So we want an average of order quantity. So we'll change the aggregation of order quantity to average by doing what? By right clicking on the order quantity field and selecting the measure. So we have to go to measure here and select average here. So this will change the aggregation to average. Okay, this is the average of this measure. This is how you can change the aggregation. So we will drag category and drop it into color, right? So that each category is represented with different color. So we also want to show this order quantity by size. So for doing this, we have to hold the control button. So we have to first select the um, uh, order quantity, average of order quantity, and hold the control button. And from columns, we have to drop it into size. So this will create a duplicate of that order average of order quantity and place it in size as well. Okay. So the thicker the size of the bar indicates the higher the order quantity. So the thinner the size of the bar indicates the smaller the order quantity, right? Right. So we have used order quantity both in size and columns. So we'll click on T. We'll click on T in toolbar, and then we'll sort in ascending order. Okay. So this is how we can create average order quantity by different categories. Okay. So we have to note here that coloring the visualization is known as color encoding. Okay, we have colored that visualization, right? This is called as color encoding, and sizing the visualization is called as size encoding. Okay, this sizing the visualization is also called as size encoding, right? So this is about one of the ways you can build a visualization. So we'll move on to the next task. Task number 3. So what is this? So here we will try to display country-wise maximum profits and color code with profit. So first we should have country. Okay, we should have country, and it should have profits. Should have profits. Okay, and we'll color code with profit. So the first step is we need to identify the dimensions and measures, and then we'll have to drag country into rows. We have all the list of countries here, right? And then profit into columns. It will show profit by each country. So right click on profit and change the aggregation to maximum. So we want to show maximum profits. So show it to change it to maximum. Aggregation is maximum now, maximum profits. So you also want to show it in color. So hold control button, drag maximum profit and drop it into color. Right. So you have to sort in descending order, right? So what has happened here was, so for each country, we have shown a visualization by maximum profit, and the thicker the shade, the bigger the profit, and paler the shade, the lesser the profit. So we can use colors to uh, do some analysis from the visualization like this. Okay. So this is one of the ways to build a visualization. So we'll move on
So
to the
and here, if you want to change the color instead of blue, can we customize?
yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
So we have to press on this icon here. You have to go to edit colors, and you can choose any color. So you want to change it to orange, you can change it to orange. Okay.
Okay.
So there are multiple colors that you can change it to. So you can change. Okay. That's not an issue. You can change it. Right. So in the next task, we will see how we can display year-wise profits. So we'll again use profits here. So and encode with profits. So we'll see how we can do that. So we have to use a date field now. So we are using a year. So we want to show year-wise total profits. Okay. So for that we have to identify the fields. First, we have to have a date field. Here, what do you have? We have order date. And what do you have in measure? Profit, right? So we have identified the fields. Now drag the order date into columns, because we want to see years like this side by side. Now and profits into rows, right? So we'll drag profit and drop it into color and size. So we want to show profit by color and also size. So thicker the color, more the profit, paler the color, less is the profit. And we also want to show it in size. So if it is a small or small in size, it means the profit is less. If it is bigger in size with a wider shape, that size, that means it's having the year is having bigger profits. So we want to show that view. So what we do is we also drag profit and drop it into color and size. Color will show a slightly increasing gradient like this, with paler color from paler to thicker color like this. And by dropping profit to size, it will create a visualization like this. Okay. Basically, it's gradually the profits are gradually increasing year on year. So you can represent the data like this. Okay. And we can click on T to show the values, right? For each year, as you can see, the values are increasing, and you can represent with this color and size as well, like this. Okay. So this is one of the ways to represent our basic visualization. So we have to note here that dealing with date, Tableau will display highest date part by default. So as you can see, the highest date part of order date is year. So if you use any order date, so what I've done is I have not taken order year here, right? I've just placed order date and placed it into columns. It has automatically aggregated into years, right? So by default, when Tableau deals with dates, uh, default by default Tableau will display highest date part. Okay, what is the highest date part? It's year, right? So what are the other date parts in year in order date? So the next hierarchy is quarter. So the next hierarchy is month, then day. Okay. So you can even show the visualization at this aggregation at this level, at this individual level. So these are all different days in the month of January, and even all the months can be represented like this, and the year can be shown in quarter, and year can also be shown like this. Okay. So if you don't want to show day, or you only want to show month, you can show this view. So for each month you can show the date, you can show the graph, and you can show on a each quarter as well. So if you even don't want this level, so you can show it on a quarter level like this. So if you just want a year to be shown like this, you can show this. But by default, Tableau will display the highest date part if you are dealing with any dates. Okay, this is a thing that you need to keep in mind. Right. So we'll go to the next task. So we'll display month-wise average discounts. So there is discount here, right? So we'll display average month-wise average discounts and color by year. So we have to identify the fields. Discount is there, and also we have date field. So we have to convert that into month, right? Okay, so we will drag order date into rows, because now we want to show them in rows, and discount into columns, right? So we have to change the aggregation to average, because we want average discounts, not sum of discounts. Change it to average. Okay. So we'll right click on the order date in the rows. Okay. And select month. So the aggregation level that it is showing by default is year. So select month here, because we want month-wise average discounts. Select month. So we are able to see months like this. Okay. For average discount. Right. So we'll drag order date into color. Okay. We'll drag order date into color. Okay. And what is the aggregation here? Date part is year. So our requirement is to display month-wise average discounts and color code with year. So each color is represented by each year here. So we have to use a order date field, and the aggregation is on a year level. Okay. And we have to also use it in label. Okay. And we have to use year for this. Okay. So for each year we are showing label and color. And we also want to show average discount into label. So we want to show the text here. So the average discount can also be shown. So for that we need to click on control and then place it on label. So that will create a duplicate of average discount. So it is showing the average discount and the year like this, because we have placed that in label or text. So we have to click on the label in the marks card in text. Okay, we have to click on the label in the marks card in text and click on edit. In text, we have to click on edit here. So we can decrease the font, so that more number of views can values can be shown. So control this information and then decrease the font, okay, to 8. Click on apply and okay. So you will observe that the font has been decreased here. So you you right click on the edit axis, click on edit axis, and you uncheck the include zero. So because we are able to see a lot of empty space here, you don't want to see that. So if you click on include zero, uncheck include zero, it will show the values starting from the maximum to minimum. Okay. Now, so what is the discount? It will be in percentages, right? So go to discount, and in default properties, in number format, show it as percentage and single decimal. Okay. So that will show the average discount in percentage level. Okay. So in tooltip, you have what? Automatically, by placing the fields onto different shelves in the tooltip, you will have month of order date, year of order date, and average discount. So you can also change this by if you want to change the view also. So we'll just take a preview. So this is a tooltip. So once you hover over the data points, you'll be able to see the underlying data like this. So month of order date is Jan. Month of order, year of order date is 2010. The average discount is 4.5%. Okay. So once you hover over this data, you'll be able to see that data. So if you want to swap columns and rows, you can do this. So this is a nicer way to show the visualization of average discount shown for each month. Okay, month-wise average discount with color coding with the year. So for each year on a month level, we are showing the average discount like this. Okay, so this is also one of the ways in which you can build a visualization. So here, what we learned is we have learned to show access from starting to ending point rather than from 0 point. Okay, so that you can show only maximum minimum value. So the focus would be only on that area of the graph. So here, what have we learned? We have learned to show size, use size and color to represent the different variations in a measure called profit here. Okay. Okay. So here we wanted to show a trend on a time period. So if you want to show a trend of average discount on a time period, time series analysis, we can use a visualization like this. So in the previous graph, what we have seen is, so if you want to get a insight by showing the data from in a descending order, with having maximum number of profits in the top and the minimum in the bottom. So at a glance, instant glance, we will be able to see who are the top performing countries, which are the top performing countries. So that is the insight that you can generate here. So you can, here we have used color and also size to to see the order quantity. Okay, by this ascending order. So this is a simple graph where we want to show the sales by continent. Okay, in each graph we are able to learn a new thing, right? Now, so in our next chart, what we'll do is we'll try to display customer segment with minimum shipping cost. So there's customer segment here and also shipping cost here. So we'll try to portray uh, a customer segment with minimum shipping cost. So the aggregation should be on minimum shipping cost displayed by customer segment. Right. So we'll drag customer segment into rows and ship mode into column. Okay. So we'll drag shipping cost to text. Right. So the default aggregation is sum. Okay. But do we need sum here? No, right? So we don't want a sum here. So we'll right click on the shipping cost and select the aggregation as minimum. Okay. So this is a cross tab view. This is a table view in which we are able to see customer segments. Okay. By this single view, we can get an insight from this view. Okay. For each shipping mode. So this is the minimum shipping cost, right? So this way you can get an insight by aggregating to minimum. So in the next task, we'll try to display state-wise average sales. So there is state field here. There is a sales field here. Okay. So we'll try to display state-wise average sales, and we'll color by state and size with sales. Okay. So we'll see how we can do it. So we'll drag state into rows. And sales into column. We'll right click on sales and select measure as average, because we want average sales, not sum of sales. So we want average sales. So we have converted the aggregation to average. We'll drag state into color in the marks card. Right. For each state, we're having a single color. So drag average sales by holding control button and drop it into size. Right. So this has created the states based on the size. Okay. So now display country wise number of orders. So sort this. So this will actually display the state-wise average sales. Okay, the state-wise average sales in descending order. So you can also add. You can also add country filter to this. These are all state, right? It is having states of all the countries. So if you only want to see a specific country, you can add filter here. Okay, in filter. So if you want to only see US, select US, and you'll be able to see only US data and states of US. Okay, right. So in our next task, we'll see one more visualization to display country-wise number of orders. Country-wise number of orders. Right. So we'll drag country into rows and order ID in columns. So there is no aggregation for order ID. Order ID is a dimension here. So we want to change the aggregation and take only the count as once. So we only want to count the order ID once. There are chances that there will be duplicate order IDs. So by right clicking on order ID and selecting count distinct, so it will take the Tableau will take only order ID once. So it will take the distinct count of order IDs like this. Okay. So you color code the visualization with the count distinct of order ID. So for that, press on control and place this into color. Okay. place this into color. Press T to show the values and sort in descending order. Okay, so this will show you um, the count of order IDs. So based on different countries in descending order. Okay, so what have we done here? So we have seen how we can convert a dimension called order ID and take only the count once, unique count of order IDs. So using count distinct aggregation. Okay. So we have to note here that count will count all the values, whereas count distinct will count only the distinct values. So if you use count, it will count all the values. If you use count distinct, it will only count unique values or distinct values. We have to also see here that both count and count distinct ignores the null values. Both count and count distinct ignores the null values. Okay. Right. In our next task, we will display category wise average shipping cost. Category. So where is the category? So we have category dimension and we have shipping cost. So we'll display a category wise average shipping cost and we'll try to add a title, add a title, add a caption, and also add a summary information. So we'll drag category into rows and also shipping cost into columns. Drag this into columns. So we'll change aggregation to average. So to show title, caption, and summary, we'll have to click on the worksheet tab. So we'll go to worksheet tab and click on and select the show title here. So it's already shown here. So if it is not selected, you have to select show title to show title here. Also to show caption, you have to go to worksheet and click on show caption. So this will show a caption at the bottom of the view. What is a caption? If you want to place any note for the visualization, you can use a caption. Then if you want to show summary, click on show summary. So this will show you a summary of how many counts are there. So in status bar also you can see the number of marks. So there are 17 rows by one column. Okay, there are 17 rows, 17 categories by one column. Okay, by one column category. Okay, so the sum is 278 and average is 16. Okay, so this is the average shipping cost in dollars. So minimum, maximum shipping cost and median of the shipping cost. So if you want to have a summary, if you want to just have a glance of the summary, you can use this option. Now, so you can sort this as well in descending order. Okay, so you can use T to show the values. Now you can edit the title. So right click on the title, you can edit the title. So what is this? This is average shipping cost by category. Click on apply and OK. So this is the title of the sheet. So you can even edit the caption. Right click on caption and click on edit caption. You can write count equal to 17. Click on apply and OK. Right. Also, we can edit the shipping cost. So go to default and in number format, go to custom and place 2 decimal places. Prefix by dollars because it's dollar figures. So if you want to show units, show it, or else keep it as it is. Okay, right. So you can either prefix or suffix the units like this. So you are able to show the numbers in currency like this. So how can you do that? Go to the field, go to the measure, go to default properties and number format, and go to number custom and select the decimal places, the units, and also prefix with a dollar symbol. You can also use 0 or 1 decimal place as well. Right. So what have we learned in this view? We have learned that we can show a title of the worksheet. We can show a caption. We can show a summary to get to know the gist of the data. And also you have seen how we can edit the numbers or the values to represent with the currency value called dollar using using default properties. So going right clicking on the measure and then click on default properties and going to number format and changing the required format. Okay, right. So this is how we can make this visualization. So next task, we'll try to display category wise sales and show the category values to the right side of the visualization along with the sales values. So we have category, we have sales, okay, and we'll see how we can do that. So we'll drag category into rows and then sales into columns. So we'll right click on category field and unselect show header. So you don't want to show values the name of the category like this. So right click on the category field and uncheck show header. So you'll not be able to see. You don't want to show like this. So do this. Now, so we'll drag category sales into label of the marks card. We'll drag the category into label. Also we'll drag sales into label the marks card. Okay, right. So we should click on label and click on the edit button here in the text, and you have to take both category and sales on the same row just to see how they look, because you are showing it in a single bar row, single row. So you also want to show all these values in a single row. So we'll first show the category and then sum of sales in a single line. That's why we are showing it in a single line like this. And then also we can decrease the size so that it is visible properly. Click on apply and then click on OK. So are you able to see the category and sales in a single line? Yeah. So we are able to see the name of the category and the sum of sales in a single line for each line like this. So if you want to show view like this, we have to perform this visualization building. Okay, what we have to do for that? So first we need to uncheck show header, and then have to go to label, go to text. You have to edit this and place the category and sum of sales in a single line and decrease the size of the font. Right. So finally, so we'll do one more task. We'll display year-wise total sales. So we'll display year-wise total sales. Okay, and show the year header at top. So by default, the year would be shown at the bottom. However, when you require to show the year header at the top, so you will see how we can do that. So we have to note here that by default in Tableau, for innermost dimensions, header will be displayed at the bottom only. Okay. So we'll drag order date into column and sales into rows. So you can see that the order, the years are represented at the bottom of the view. However, you want to show years at the top, not at the bottom. Okay, we'll see how we can do that. We'll go to Analysis tab. We'll go to Table Layout and go to Advanced. And in Table Options window, we have to unselect show innermost level at bottom of view when there is a vertical axis. You have to uncheck this. You have to uncheck show innermost level at bottom of the view when there is a vertical axis. Because we have unchecked the level of show innermost level at bottom, so it will appear where? At the top. It will appear at the top because we have unchecked this. Click on apply and OK. So we are able to see the years appearing at the top like this. Okay. So these are the some of the basic visualizations that you have to know how to do it. Okay. So go through these recordings once again and get up to speed and grasp of all these simple things, basic visualizations. We'll build few more advanced visualizations in our further classes. So however, these are all the basic visualizations that you need to know how to build. So there are the few important points that I want to mention here. So to assign colors to multiple values at a time, in edit color window, you have to click on assign palette. So if you want to assign, okay, yeah, if you want to assign colors to multiple values at a time, in edit color, in edit colors, you have to click on assign palette. Okay, this will assign automatic palettes, automatic colors, because there are 20. If there are more than 20, you will get a pop-up menu. So ignore that. Yeah, so press on yes and click on OK. So all this palette would be assigned to that view. Okay, right. If you want to assign colors to multiple values at a time, in edit, in colors, you have to click on edit colors and in this window you have to click on assign palette. So if you are coloring visualization with the dimension, then Tableau will display each and every dimension value in one different color. Okay, these are all dimensions, right? State is a dimension. So if you are coloring visualization with the dimension, then Tableau will display each and every dimension value in one different color. This kind of coloring is known as discrete coloring or categorical coloring. So these are all, state is a categorical field, which is a dimension in turn, right? So when you show a dimension in color, so in Tableau, so each value in the dimension will be shown with a different color. This type of coloring is called as discrete coloring or categorical coloring. Whereas if you are coloring the visualization with a measure, so yeah, so if you are coloring a visualization with a measure like this, the profit is a measure, right? Profit is a measure. If you're coloring the visualization with a measure, then Tableau will display smaller values in lighter color, and larger values in darker color. Okay, within a single coloring. So this kind of coloring is known as sequential coloring. So this is called as sequential coloring. So where the smaller values will be shown in lighter color and larger values will be shown in darker color. So this is called as sequential coloring. However, for dimension, this is known as discrete coloring or categorical coloring. Okay, it is not possible to color the visualization with both dimension and measure at a time. So either we can color a dimension or a measure. However, we cannot color both dimension measure at a time. If you want to use color, you can either choose a dimension or a measure, not both. Okay. So keep these things in mind. Okay. At that, so it is possible to color the visualization with the multiple dimensions at a time. So if you want to show multiple dimensions, that is possible. So for example, you can okay, so you can press on the press on the continent and press shift and place it in the color shelf. Okay, so this will okay, so this has taken along with the continent, city, category and stuff. So these are not needed. So I'll remove those. I only want continent. Okay. So if you want a state and continent, you can have that in a single view like this. So that means it is possible to color the visualization with multiple dimensions at a time. So to color with multiple dimensions, you have to hold shift button, select the multiple dimensions and drop it into color like this. Okay. You can show multiple dimensions side by side. So as you can see that the legend is a combination of what? Continent and state. Okay. So I'll change the sequence. So basically, it's a combination of a state and a so I'll drag them in again. First I will drop continent into color and then country. Rather than state, I will use country. I'll press shift and place. You have to make sure that you are pressing only one dimension at a time. Right. So like this, we can show the colors at a time. Okay. So we have used the filter of US. So remove that filter. Okay. So you'll get the view like this. Basically, you can have multiple dimensions in a single view like this. So it is always recommended to color the visualization with measures. Okay. It is always recommended to color the visualization with measures. Okay. It is always recommended to color the visualization with measures because as a main purpose of coloring is to perform any analysis with the categorical fields. Okay. Coloring tab. Okay. So with the categorical coloring, Tableau will display each and every value in different colors. So if you use categorical coloring like this, each and every value will display different colors. So to perform any analysis, it's always recommended to use visualization with measures. Okay, so but using a categorical analysis, we cannot perform any analysis. Okay, we cannot performing any analysis like this. However, using a color for profit or measure, we can see a type of a pattern or do some analysis. Okay, so while coloring with measures, Tableau will display bigger values in darker color and smaller values in lighter color. So with that coloring, we can perform some sort of analysis. So it is recommended. Okay, so to assign, so one more thing is, one more point is to assign same color to all the sheets at a time. We have to set the color for the field at the default properties level. For example, you want to set same color for sales across sheets for all the sheets. Right click on sales, click on default properties and select color. Okay, so you select a color for sales, say green, and click on apply and okay. So by doing this, what happens is, um, for all the sales which have been used in the dashboard, it will have it will have it will have a green color. So we'll see where it is used. So we'll make profit as a first one. So color as and use this in color. So you will get the color as red because you have defined red for sales as a default color across different sheets. Okay, so that way you can have a same color to all the sheets at the time you set the colors. So the one more point is to set the default properties. So right click on the, yeah, so in the same thing, for setting the default properties, we need to right click on the field in the default properties. We need to set the color and assign the required color. Okay, we assign, go to default properties, color, and then set the desired color. Okay, right. So one more thing is, if we drag and drop any field into row shelf and column shelf, Tableau instantly displays the values by sending the query to the data source. So if you drag drop the fields onto the view, Tableau will instantly display the values by sending the query to the data source. If you drag and drop n number of fields into rows and columns, Tableau will generate n number of queries. So it is going to degrade the performance as it needs to execute n number of queries. So to decrease that n number of queries, so to one query, you have to pause the automatic updates in the toolbar. You have to press this and build any visualization. So if you pause the automatic updates, then Tableau will not execute any queries. So after building the visualization or placing all the fields into the row and column shelves, then we have to click on run update. We have to click on run update in the toolbar to send only one single query for all the fields. If you are actually performing with a complex data source, you have to do this. So for all the fields, and it will eventually improve the performance by at least 50%, by minimum of 50%. Okay, at a so the one more thing is you cannot do you cannot place a dimension and measure for color. However, it is possible to label the visualization with both the dimension and measures at a time. So you cannot do that with color. However, we can do that with labeling. So at a time, it is possible to label the visualization with both dimension and measure by placing both the fields into label of the marks card. In the marks card, we have to place the dimension as well as the profit as the measure in labels. So for example, so here profit is the dimension, order date is the measure, right? So profit is the measure, and placing it in label, and order date is the dimension. So by placing it in text box, we can see, we can visualize both dimension and a measure in a single view. We cannot do that in color, but we can do that in labeling, right? So one more point is you have to always use count for measures and count distinct for dimensions. So if you want to use a count for measures, you have to use count, and for dimensions you have to use count distinct. So if you want to aggregate measures like customer ID, order ID, or order ID, all these IDs can be used with count distinct. Okay, these are the or the dimensions where you have to use count distinct, because there are chances that there will be duplicates for customer ID and order ID. So you have to use count distinct to eliminate those duplicates. So for measures, we always have to use count. If you ever have to use count, you have to use only count. Right, guys. So these are the basic visualizations that I wanted to explain you, and few of the note points that you need to keep in your mind while building any visualization. Okay. So that's it from my end for today. So tomorrow we will work on multiple dimensions. So we'll start working with multiple dimensions and also multiple measures. Okay. So the next classes would be the standard would be going a little up. So these are all the basic visualizations that you need to know in the first place. Okay. Right, guys. Any questions?
Please share it to my email ID. Okay.
Sure, Raghuveer, I'll do that.
Hmm.
Okay, bye-bye. Is it still there? Sid, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here. So, are you going to?
Yeah, I just saw your chat message.
Yeah.
Actually, for this recording to get stored, I mean, it will take some time, at least an hour or a couple of hours. So
Okay.
once it is ready, I'll be sharing today's. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
I'll keep a tab on that. So once it is ready, I'll share you. No issues.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.